Thank you for watching my video on how to draw an isometric part by hand. Please download and print off the accompanying file listed below so you can work along at the same time as me. While you're at it, click on the subscribe and like button. Thank you. I hope that you enjoy. Okay, today we are creating an isometric print from these three different views. This view is the front, right, and top. So we're going to start by creating an outline, and the best way to do this, I'm going to do this step by step, is to count. Okay, by that I mean I do know that looking at this print, the right side's going to go here, the front is going to go here, and then the top is going to go on top. So let's count and start creating some of our lines. So we'll start with making this side here. So we're going to start by making the right hand side. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to put a little dot there. Okay, this A here is represented by that dot there. It just helps you place, because if I were to start here, well, part of my print would be missing because there's not enough space here to do this. So I agree that I have this line here. Now I'm going to draw these in rather light, or as light as I can, and I'm always going to use pencil because I need to erase some of these lines. I'm only going to do the outside shape, and ideally, if you have a ruler, but I don't seem to have a ruler here. Any straight edge will work. So that's my 8 there. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw my little dot there. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw my little dot there. And then I'm going to close the top of my box off. Okay, so now I'm going to create this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to close my box off here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I drew a little too high. Always got to double check these things. So now I'm going to close my box off here. Okay, so I know that this is from here to here. I got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So therefore, this line here will be represented by this line here. And there's 8 there as well. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to draw my box off here. And then this line here is going to be represented to this line here. So we will close our box off here. Okay, we're doing pretty good so far, but let's go back and let's take a look at what line represents what. So so far I've drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines so far. So let's take a look. This line here is represented by this line here. This line here is represented by this line here. This line here is represented by this line and that line. This line here is represented by this line here. This line here is represented by this line and that line. And I also should have said this line here is represented by this line and this line. This line here is represented here. This line here is represented by this line here. This line is represented by this line. Okay? So let's draw a little bit more detail of what we have here. Okay? So I'm going to draw this line here. So I go 1, 2, so I go 1, 2, and I make a little mark, and then I go 1 up. So I'm going to draw 1 straight up here, or as straight as I can make it. Then I go 1, 2, and 1 up. So I go 1, 2, and I'm going to draw 1 up. And then if I were to count here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would close that off. So let's draw this in. We're not going to erase lines yet, but it's coming. When we need a clear definition, then we'll start erasing lines. So this box here represents this box there. Now we have a groove cut in here. So we're going to go 1, 2 up. We're going to go 1, 2 up, make a dot, and that's 1 high, so a second line will be drawn in here. So this solid line here will be represented all the way across to here. Do we see this starting to take a little bit more shape? We're not going to do the circle yet. We're going to come back to the circle. Now, if this line and this line is the same line, which is represented by this line here, so therefore we're still 2 up, but we need to go 1, 2 in. So I'm going to go 1, 2 in. It's 1 high, so I'm going to draw a line up, and then I'm going to draw a line across. Here and here. Okay, we're not going to erase any lines yet, but we're coming soon. So now let's draw this groove in the bottom here, our solid groove. So we're going 1, 2, 3 over, 1, 2, 3 over. Then we go 1 up. So then I'm going to go 1 up. Then I go 1, 2, 3 over and 1 up again. 1, 2, 3 over and 1 up. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could just draw a line in, but I want to double check. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes, I can draw my line in now. And this represents this. Now we have these two over here, this shape here. So let's go 1, 2, and 1 up. So we go 1, 2 to here. We go 1, 2 in and 1 up. So we're going to go 1, 2 in, 1 up, and then 1, 2 over as well. If your hand's shaky or anything along those lines, you're better off to use a ruler for everything. And the best ruler is a plastic clear ruler, so you can see the lines underneath. At least in my opinion. Okay, so now I'm going to draw this line here. It's 1, 2, 3 over and 1, 2 down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, make a mark, and I'm going to go 1, 2 down. Okay, I'm going to do the same over. 1, 2, 3, 2 down. 1, 2, 3, and 2 down. Okay, next I'm going to do this here. I'm going to skip the radius for now, because radiuses I'm going to show you a couple tricks that we can do to kind of get it to look more orthographic, or sorry, isometric like, because your radiuses turn into ovals when you're drawing them on different angles. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down and 1, 2, 3, 4 over. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 over, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 over, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And that should be 1, 2, 3, 4 wide. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 wide. So I'm going to draw that bottom one in. So this line represents that line. Now at the ends I have 1 up and 1 up, so I'm going to go 1 up and 1 up. Okay, now if we take a look here, let's take a look at our radiuses. If I were to draw a center point here, that would be about the center point of that radius. This is about 1/3, and from here to here is about 2/3. Okay, so if I were to make this a square, right, my radius would have to go to right about here someplace. So when I draw this out, I'm going to start my curve, radius down to something like this. Same with this side. If this is my center point, oops, I just cracked my pencil. If this is my center point, that's about, from here to here is about 2/3, that's about 1/3 over. So if I were to draw my square, it goes over to here, and then up to here, I need to be from this point to here about 2/3, so right around here. So I would draw a dot there, kind of make that a lazy large arc. So we see how that's a tight little arc and that's a larger arc. Okay, let's draw our circle here, and maybe you'll see it a little bit better what I mean by this. So we're going to go 1, 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to make a point right here. 1, 2, then I'm going to go 1, 2 from this side. 1, 2, and I'm going to make a point. And then from this 1, 2 down, so the center's here. I'm going to go 1, 2 down to there. Now if we take a look here, that's one full one. If we were to draw a line from here to here, that's 1, and this is about, I'm going to say from here to here, I'm going to say about 1, I mean it's less, but I'm going to say about 1/3, and this is going to be 2/3 of a line. So if I draw this projection over to here, as I come down, this is one full circle, and then I want to go to about here. So I'm going to draw my projection, slightly leaning and then sharpening to here. Same with if I did this here to here, I would want to draw my radius out from here down to here, over to here. That's one full circle, one full line, and then 1/3, or sorry, 2/3 to here, which would make this here a very tight radius coming up. So it looks something similar to that. Similar. I've been doing freehand drawing for a little while, and radiuses are extremely difficult. So if you can put in supporting dots, it'll help you kind of get it looking right. We have the majority of information from the left side and the right side done. We're not done, not by any stretch. Well, let's do the top. The top, we have basically 3 pads. One solid line here to here, one solid line here to here, solid line here to here, solid line here to here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, I was there before, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3 to here. On all 3 corners. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. So that's basically what this top pad looks like. Okay. So I'm going to extend a few lines. Okay, we do have these lines here, but I don't really need to fill them in. Those lines are extended out. I want to draw this line here straight down. So I'm just going to extend this beyond where it actually is. So I'm going to draw a line down through these points, and I'll erase any excess that's there. That gives you more of a 3-dimensional view. So now if I were to transcribe this here line to here, then if I were to draw this guy out, it would be out to here. But let's count. I know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this line actually ends right there. So let's draw this line in here. And we know that it comes down 1, so we can draw the down line of 1. So we drew this line longer. Well, this line actually only drops down 2, so we're going to go 1, 2 to here, and I'm going to erase the rest. I drew that to help me get a visual, because we need to put this radius right in here. So it's the exact same radius. So I'm going to try and draw it. So if this was my center point here, I would like to go 2/3. Let's see here, it's 1 full. So from here to here, I'd like to go to at least here. So we're going to draw a radius in. It looks something like this. Okay. Now I can close this, draw this line here and this line across. To here. Have a bit of a taper on it, and it makes it look a little bit goofy. So I'm going to try drawing that again. That's why it's better to have a clear ruler. So it's all about visuals. And hopefully we see this coming together. Now this arc here, if I could take it and copy it, I would, so I'm just going to draw it over here. I'm going to draw the same thing that I drew here. This line here is down to over here. So we're not even going to see this upper arc, we're only going to see this back arc because everything's moved over to here. So if I draw a line straight out to here, I'm going to go 1 and about 2/3. So I'm going to go 1 and about 2/3 here. And I need to end here, so I'm going to draw my radius here. And just the slightest thing will make it look a little odd. Now I'm going to draw my radius here again, straight down 2, because it's 1, 2. I'm going to go 1 and 2/3, so I'm going to go 1, 1 and 2/3 to about here. So I'm going to draw this guy around here. Make it as sweeping as I possibly can. And if I were to draw this down to here, I would go 1 2/3 to here as well. And then try to round it up. I'll try to avoid making little straight lines, but I'm trying to sweep it in as best as I can. Same thing on this side here. I come down 1, 2, same as there, it blends into here. Something along those lines. We can erase these pieces here. I can erase this line here. I can erase this line here. This line here. Now if you had an eraser shield, that would be an awesome tool to have when you're doing freehand drawing. Eraser shield's just a piece of sheet metal that's stamped out. Okay, we're rounding our home stretch. We just need to clean things up a little bit. We have this line here, they're parallel to each other. So I can close this off by drawing this line here into there. We can see how that line's not there. So we can get rid of this line here. Because we're on an angle, this here line here doesn't exist, that part of the line doesn't exist. So we can get rid of that. Now we can see the back side of this line because it's on an angle. So we're going to draw a line, draw our line in here. Draw our line in there. We can see the rest of this line here, So we're going to draw that in as well. We're going to erase this line here, doesn't exist, so we're going to erase this line. We'll erase that line at the same time. So we have a line that goes here where that continues out, and we also have a line here where that continues out. Now the other one that's a little bit more advanced is this line here, which is this line here. Because this arc is cut away, you have visual reference of that little bit of line there. I hope that this helps. If you think about it and do it step by step and count. I know counting seems a little, but counting is very important because what it'll do is it'll help you create a balance.